So a little definition here in terms of resilience. So it's the ability to sustain your energy and motivation in times of stress and to recover quickly from change. So there's the bounce back, like the rubber ball, but also it's bouncing back and moving forward. So there's that bit of agility as well when change happens. Right. So this is a graph by Yurt Stobson, and that's looking at the impact.
Sorry, Toyin. I think there's a bit of a delay again. I'm not sure what starts it, but we're on the resilience slide at the moment.
Oh, okay.
We're not seeing the graph
yet?
Not just yet. Oh, there we go. There we go.
Okay. Right. So this is the Yurt Dodson what you call it, the curve showing the impact of stress on performance. So what this demonstrates, and it was around, this has been like over 100 of years, but science has backed this up in terms of, we've got so many different clinical studies to show that the more the person is under stress and they get to that point of overwhelm or panic, then it has, a big impact on performance. And so basically, the curve shows here the level of arousal, which is the amount of stress or alertness that you need. And then on the other axis, you have performance. Now, if you're looking at somebody who's bored and not engaged, especially at work, we're talking about work. If I talk about the work setting now, somebody who's bored and not engaged, as you can see, they're on the lower end of the curve. And then, but they mimic the same, another person who's in a place of panic and overwhelm. Still, the performance levels are the same. So it's about working out who is bored and who is actually in distress. Everybody needs a little bit of stress to get things done and get peak performance. So that's where it's finding that sweet spot where you get the stretch. So you've got the eustress, which is good. It's moving you out of your comfort zone and you're being stretched a bit. And that's where you get your high performance. It could be seen as a challenge. So, for instance, an opportunity to get a promotion, people stretch themselves, and it's a good level of stress. But also, when expectations are very high and people get overwhelmed and there's so much change happening, they can be pushed overboard and over that curve, and then they start feeling the strain. Then they start to panic. Then they start getting into distress, and then performance starts dropping. And you might see that in organizations where lots of change is happening and there's not enough information shared. And there's just so much going on. So people move from a place where they were performing highly to a place of overwhelm, and that will affect performance. Jamie, has the slide changed?
No, we seem to be having the delay again. I'm not sure what causes it, but we're still on the stress of performance. It was working fine, wasn't it, Toyin, before? But how weird. So we're still on the stress on performance slide at the moment. There we go. We're on the cool blue, fiery red slide.
So the stress factors during change,
yeah? Yep, that's correct.
So when it's somebody who's, for those who have been on this series for quite some time, just a reminder for those who haven't been on, so a person who pushes a lot of cool blue energy or has a very dominant leaning towards cool blue, they're usually people who have interest in detail to get their work done. So they need a lot of details. They're quite questioning. They like a lot of structure. So what can cause stress in a person whose dominant leaning is called blue, where they like structure, is when there's lack of information or understanding. And of course, again, lack of structure. So, and if they're getting work that is of poor quality, and rush jobs, and they're distractions, then they won't be able to work. And so if there are loads of distractions all over the place, then that's where performance starts dropping. So they feel there's a loss of confidence. That's what it looks like for them. So stress factors for somebody who pushes fiery red, which is somebody who's, just as a reminder, they're very top line, they're very driven, they're results oriented, lack of focus, indecisiveness, lack of immediacy, that gets them under stress as well. So if that pace is now slowing down because they like a fast-paced environment, that adds to their stress. So they feel they've lost control because they like to be in control. And then for those who push sunshine yellow, stress factors, this is how it looks like for them. So just a reminder again of what sunshine yellow is. People who dominantly have a leaning towards sunshine yellow behaviors, as in being involved. They're very social. They like to be included in everything and like to take people on their journey and are very optimistic. The stress factors during change, how it looks to them is like a loss of choice. So when they're not involved or restricted, feel they don't have a say, so lack of influence or being overlooked or feeling that they've been rejected. Yeah, and if everything's all really serious and nobody can joke during that situation, then that's when you're going to see people underperforming because of those stress factors. And so for the earth green, those who push a lot of earth green energy, so a reminder again of earth green are those people who always seek harmony, always considering others. They have a strong sense of values in terms of making sure everybody is okay, because they want everybody to be happy. And so stress factors that could affect them is when there's a lack of consideration for others, sudden changes without warning. And when they feel their values are being violated, there's time pressures, or people are being treated unfairly, then those are the stress factors, which to them, it looks like there's a loss of connection. Has the slide changed, Jamie?
No, it hasn't. Sorry, Toyin. I think we're going to have to cue you in every time. What does stress look like? Is that the slide you're on now?
Yes.
Brilliant. There we go.
Great. So then we have what stress looks like in somebody who pushes that full blue energy, that if it's their dominant leaning, they become quite pessimistic. Yeah. So always looking not on the bright side, but the opposite of the bright side. So always looking at obstacles and obstruction. They're cold and calculating, and they're quite, they're frozen. So if they don't have enough information, then they find it hard to work. So this pace slows right down. And for somebody who has a dominant fiery red energy, They can come across as quite aggressive, insensitive, and have that kind of persecuting mindset. So um, I'm sure everybody can think about times when there has been change within their organizations where you have certain people who become really overbearing and they start to micromanage you. So that's how it feels because they're under stress. And again, with sunshine yellow, those who have a big leaning towards that, there's that victim mindset. So they become highly emotional, very erratic. Yeah, they just want to talk about it. And it would be in a negative way. Yeah. So again, I'm sure you can think of situations where you've had people go through that and all they want to do is just talk about how horrible it is for them and how this person is or these people are doing stuff to them. Yeah. And then you've got uh, those who push a lot of green energy and they can just clam up. So devoid of feeling and they they take it really personally in terms of they feel wounded and resentful, almost like they're grieving when some of these changes happen. Has the next slide changed?
Yes, we're on remedies, Toyin.
Right, right. So some of the remedies that can help, especially when people are under stress and when you want to help build resilience, will be for those who push a lot of cool blue energy, would be to provide as much information as possible. So share the plan, and this is especially for leaders when you're going on that journey of change within an organization. Bring people along, share the plan. Some people like a lot of detail, a lot about the process, the structure, what's going to happen. Um, and yeah, and also ask, seek from them, ask them, can you identify any contingencies, um, if the original plan doesn't work out, what's the backup? And ask them things like, how can we implement this change? What method are we going to use? Those who are have a dominant fiery red energy, basically when you are talking about that kind of change or something that's going to happen, it's about conveying confidence and decisiveness, so be really confident when you're looking at sharing the direction for the change. Get people focused on the future. And they don't, it's not about waffle, it's about going straight to the point. This is what we're planning to do. This is how soon we're planning to get there. And also it's about acknowledging the opportunity within the challenges. So, if we do this, it might be difficult, but great things could happen with this outcome if we make this change. So it could be putting in a new CRM system or a new expenses system, just to streamline things and make the paperwork even less. So, and make things more efficient. So it's always looking at, what the opportunity is there for everyone. Then for the people with lots of sunshine yellow energy, engage, get their creative inputs in terms of getting them on board to design that change. I remember when we had a lot of changes when I was still in pharma in the company that I worked in, we used to have champions. So if they were bringing in a new system or a new piece of technology, the company would engage certain people to be champions so that when that change was happening, we always had somebody within the team to refer to if we were getting stuck or we were finding something really difficult. So yeah, so engage, so encourage active participation, involvement, and as well, be optimistic. So they people who push a lot of sunshine yellow, they are always looking at the bigger picture and the possibilities. So if you position the change as something, as an opportunity, and it's going to be a great thing for what's going to happen, then, you know, she'll be more on board as well as being involved in that. And then for those who push a lot of earth green energy or have a leaning towards earth green, you know, it's how it will benefit everybody, you know, when moving forward. And be ready to listen to concerns. Yeah. Listen to the concerns of people and how, you know, they feel it's going to impact on them and others. And it's about being collaborative. So foster an environment that is collaborative, and you'll definitely get people who cooperate because you're asking them what they feel, you're listening to people's concerns, and you're looking for solutions, you know, to ensure that they're engaged and on board. Can you see the next slide?
Not just yet. Not just yet. I'll let you know once it comes through, Toyin.
Okay.
We're still on the. Oh, there we go. We're on the ABCs of resilience.
Okay. So the ABCs of resilience are awareness, and that's being aware of how you respond to stress. Being able to recognize when you're either bored or overwhelmed, or you've got, you know, you're in the right place, and what that looks like for you. But also, if you're a leader, it's being aware of the people you manage and where they are, where they need to be pushed or stretched. And also recognizing when that person you're managing is in overwhelm and what you can do. So B is about breathing, taking a pause. Being aware of the situation, then you take a pause about what you're going to do and how you're going to manage and regulate. And then C, it's about the choices you can make. It might be a really challenging or difficult situation the whole time, but you always have choices. And it's choosing what will be right for you and how you manage that change. Right. Has it changed to adaptability?
Yep, it has. We're there.
Great. And have we got the second adaptability slide?
Not just yet. No, we're still on the first. There we go. There we go. We're on
With
the
the
second
definition.
now.
Okay.
Yep.
So this is just a little definition on adaptability, because we all need to be able to adapt to a different situation. So it's the power to detect and respond effectively to change, no matter how surprising or inconvenient it may be. And of course, all of us, if we go back to COVID times, we all had to do that and adapt our lives to manage the situation that was out of our control, really. So yeah. Are we on the next slide?
Still on adaptability at the moment. There we go. What makes the difference?
Yeah, so what makes the difference? And now I'm going to ask if you guys can drop in the chats, you know, do you tend, and just think about it, and just asking this question, do you tend to resist reality or optimize reality? So when you first are met with a situation where you hear of change, or there's big change in your organization, or maybe in your personal life, do you at first ignore it, or do you go, okay, how do we handle it? So you're looking for solutions, or you see an opportunity? So for those of you, and Jamie, if you could read out the responses, please.
Yep, of course. We'll give everyone a couple minutes or so to pop in the chat if they resist or optimize reality. They got
All
Chicky
of
to
us are,
type.
because all of us are different. Sometimes we need to ponder it and not really, you know, if something big is happening, there's that overwhelm initially, and we're like, okay, I'm not even going to think about it. Whereas other people, they want to deal with it instantly.
So Chiquita has put, I tend to be more of a resistor at first.
Mm.
Just got some more people typing. Give people a couple more minutes. Maria's commented saying that I accept that change happens and see what I can influence and what I can't.
Okay. Anyone else anything?
We've just got one other person typing at the moment.
Okay.
All pressure is on one person typing. just
Oh,
just
no pressure.
waiting.
It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. But while that's coming through, another question is, do you tend to be a limitations thinker or a possibility thinker? So are you limitations thinking or possibility thinking? So when certain changes happen, do you think of what could go wrong, or what's missing, what's being taken away, or do you think about the opportunities and the possibilities and how things could improve?
So Michelle has responded to the earlier question while people type, and Michelle has put, I tried to apply logic at the time, but that would depend on my mental health at that point.
Okay. Anybody on limitations thinking, possibility thinking?
Just typing at the moment, so we'll give them a minute or so. So Chiquita's put possibility thinking after adjusting to the initial change.
Okay.
And I think that might be it for the bottom question.
Okay, that's fine. And just to go back to that, it's just to say that, you know, there's no right or wrong answer. It's just understanding and being aware of how you initially react to change and how you adapt through that. Because some people have mentioned that they might resist initially, and then they'll get to optimize. So they adapt with you. what makes the difference is that they might have more information, or they start talking to other people and they start seeing another point of view. So can you see the next slide?
Not just yet. We're just on the oh, there we go. When is the last thing? Time. Sorry.
Yeah. So when is the last time that you did something for the first time? So can everybody think the last time they did something for the first time?
I think everyone can probably think of something here. So if you could just pop it in the chat, your answers, please. Should only take a couple of minutes.
Yeah, and just think about how it felt the first time,
Well, while people are typing toy in, I can tell you that the last time that I did something for the first time was when I was on my holiday. We did paragliding, and it was absolutely terrifying before that.
And how did you feel afterwards?
Oh, it was great, wonderful. Even when we was up in the air, it was fantastic. It was just that initial jump from the top of the mountain. It's just yeah, that was the difficult bit. But yeah, straight afterwards was yeah, a great experience.
Yeah, and I had something similar, although it wasn't as devilish as you, but it was to do with mountains. I we drove up towards the highest peak where we were in the UAE, so Devil Days.
Yeah.
And we've never driven up a mountain before, and it was just before we were like putting it off, saying no. What do you mean there are no barriers on parts of it? We're not going. But we did it. The scenery was just amazing, and yeah, it was a great experience. But just when we started at the bottom, because we had to go round and round as you're going up,
Yeah.
and the higher we were getting, we're like, oh no. But it was great. It was great. I mean, after we came down from there, drove down from there, I mean, we got out of the car, we had a look round, and it was just beautiful. But yeah, some people did the zip lining thing. No.
No.
Okay, I drew the line. There was no way.
That was the
yeah,
limit.
yeah, that was my limit. But yeah. But even just driving up that, because I've always been really scared to actually drive all the way up, something as high as that. So that was amazing. Yeah.
Oh, well, there you go. It's just new experience.
Yeah, exactly. So it just shows that sometimes when we are presented with change, I mean, if we resist a lot and not look at the other side in terms of the opportunities, we miss out on that. We miss out on the good time.
Definitely. And Chiquita said something a bit similar to the stories we've shared. So Chiquita said, solo holiday, challenging but fun.
Oh, fantastic. Fantastic. Anybody else?
I think that's all the responses for this one, Toyin.
Right. So adaptability, beginner's mind, yeah?
Yep, we're on that slide.
So, I mean, I think we've answered the question of when was the last time we did something for the first time, but it's also to stress that, when you do something for the first time, you feel out of your depth, and there might be some anxiety around it. I'm just thinking of when the first time I learned how to drive, and I had to look at all the gears, and well, I was still driving a car that had gears and, and pedals and stuff like that, and looking down and trying to keep straight on the roads and all this. So there was that level of overwhelm, because I was thinking there was just too many things to remember, the mirrors, everything, So, but that's when you're, you get to that point of being consciously incompetent, as we call it. So at first, when you don't know how to drive, if you've never even got into the car, uh, uh, you're unconsciously incompetent, then you become consciously incompetent because you're like thinking there's a lot and I'm not very good at this. And then when you practice, then you become consciously competent. You're thinking, yeah, I can do this. And after some time, you don't even think about. So for those of us who drive, you don't even think about, what you're doing. You just drive and you get there, and you don't even remember the journey because you're now unconsciously competent. And that's how it is at work. When new systems are introduced, first of all, you have that bit of uh, challenge, shall I say, around learning that new system. That as you go along, you become more competent with it. And after some time, you don't even think about it. It's just, just part of your everyday job. You don't see it as a challenge anymore. So it's just always approaching something with a beginner's mind, you know. Um, and it's thinking about when you do something new, what did you do? Or what did you stop doing? And what helped you to be more successful as a beginner? So is it that you pushed yourself? Is it that you, got insight from other people? And these are the different things that we do, especially when we're working in an organization. We seek help, or we go away and practice a little bit, or read up a little bit, all those things. And sometimes, there's things that we have to stop doing, you know, to help us move forward. So are we on the next slide? We show things.
Not just yet. No, we're on the beginner's mind. There we go. We're on the next slide now.
Right. So Shoshin, which is a Zen Buddhism concept, which means beginner's mind. And basically it's looking at life and experiencing it a way that doesn't have all the burdens of the past. So you're just keeping an open mind and being a learner rather than a knower. So just opening your mind to new perspective and ideas and being curious and exploring. So when you come faced with something that is quite new or quite unfamiliar to you, just keep that open mind. And at the very beginning of this journey with you guys, when I did my first presentation, I did it on perception and the fact that we come with our own unconscious biases, and we can make a lot of assumptions about things, and sometimes that will hold us back. So it's keeping that open mind because you don't know what opportunities are going to be there for you. So, it's about finding a way to become more comfortable with not knowing, so be like a child again, basically, because children like to try lots of things and they're always curious. And again, there's a question there. What elements of the beginner's mindset can you apply to the changes you're experiencing now? So what elements can I'm just asking that question. If you want to drop it in the chat or shout out, I don't mind.
Thanks, Toyin. I'll let people have a chance to comment. Just as a reminder to everyone, what elements of the beginner's mindset can you apply to the changes you're experiencing now? If you are going through changes, whether small or big. We did have someone typing, but they might be having a think, Toyin, so we'll give it a minute. Very
No problems.
thought-provoking prompts, I think.
It could even be in, not that I'm prying, it could be something in your personal life, something new you've bought, some new
Yes.
gadget that's in the house.
So they've asked to repeat the question. So Toyin, do you want to repeat the question around the beginner's
Sure.
mindset?
So what elements of the beginner's mindset can you apply to the changes you are experiencing now? That's if you're experiencing any changes. So, and it doesn't have to be a massive change. Like I said, you could, I bought a new car. Well, I bought a new car and I'm still learning how to use it because it's full of gadgets. And I was on the school run last week and I thought, it was as simple as, we needed the wipers working. And usually you just flick the switch for the wiper and it works. It did not happen that way. I had to have the seatbelt on and the car had to be driving and I had to press a button. And so all of that was just crazy. And it's, it was just something as simple as that, knowing where things were in the car. So, but I saw it as, how shall I say, that, okay, this is something brand new pieces of technology here. Let's keep an open mind and not see it as a hindrance, but actually something exciting to learn. And I suppose that would be like the introduction of lots of AI in our jobs right now. Some people see it as, something quite challenging, whereas some people will see it as an opportunity.
Thank you, Toyin. We've got somebody typing. So we've got one comment, Toyin,
Yeah.
and they've put, I guess it's having a little faith in yourself that you can manage the challenges that pop up. I'm still
Yeah.
trying to master Airtable, which is a software.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it's, and once you've mastered it, imagine all the things that you could do with it. Thank you. Right. So have we gone to the yes and?
Not just yet. Oh, there we go. It's popped up now.
Great. So when it comes to approaching or a change or discussing a change with your team, with your colleague, and one of the approaches we do say is use yes and. So people come up with different questions or different observations, and it's about yes, we agree with that, and let's look at what others in the organisation are doing. So it's always starting with a yes, and how about making sure we consider this and how this will impact the team. And, if this change is happening, okay, yes. And let's research a few possible alternatives so we choose the best option for our needs. And again, if there's a project, yes, and I have some experience in that area that I could bring to the project. So rather than a yes, but or no, but, it's about changing that mindset because again, we're actually telling the brain. So this is the neuroscience bit. We're getting the brain to think more positively rather than negatively. Have you seen the next slide? Yes, and again?
Yep, it's got one bullet point on this slide.
Yeah. So just an example. So yes, and in terms of, I know we're in a difficult financial year, but I'd still like to give bonuses to our teams. And then you can offer that solution of yes, and I wonder if we could offer recognition some other way than cash bonuses. What do you think? So that is asking other people's ideas and getting people involved. So do we have the next slide in terms of in relation to people's color energies?
Not just yet. I'll let you know when it comes through. There we go.
Oh, great. Right. So if you were speaking with somebody who leads with a lot of fiery red energy, when they talk about change, then an example here is yes, and here's how I think we could do it. Yes, and can we estimate the time required? So it's been straightforward and to the point. For those who lead with sunshine yellow energy, we'll be saying things like, yes, and I have another possibility for us to think about. So it's always future, looking at opportunities, looking at the potentials for the future. Yes, and the team is in this good space. Let's partner with them. And that's about getting involvement, encouraging that involvement, because that's sunshine yellow energy collaboration, which is great because then it moves things forward. And then those with who push a lot of earth green energy, who like harmony, the response is usually yes, and let's plan some time for team building. Yes, and let's make sure people are comfortable with this. So those are the things that will appeal to somebody who has earth green energy. And again, for those with lots of cool blue energy, yes, and let's anticipate any points of failure that we need to address. So, of course, always looking at contingency plans and making sure there's a structure and a method. Yes, and can I share a possible process that I have mapped out? So again, it's taken into account that there is a method. Right, are we on the next slide to action planning and close?
Yep.
Great. So have we got the boxes?
Yes, they have appeared for us.
Great. So the actions suggested are share one aha about yourself and how you respond to change. So think about what has been discussed today and what you've seen on the slides. And what will you do differently? How will you respond to change going forward?
Thanks, Toy, and we'll give people a chance to comment their responses. But yeah, if you can just pop in the chat, everyone, how you might respond to change, thinking about what you've learned today, and maybe apply it to a specific situation that is happening. And then just pop it in the chat, and we'll have a look at them. Thank you. So we've got one person's typing at the moment, Toyin.
Okay.
We've got a couple people typing.
Okay.
So Maria has put acknowledging that it is okay to consider the impact on change on myself and not just everyone else.
Yeah, thank you.
I think that's a really great point there, Maria. I think it's very easy to think
Yeah,
about everyone around us than ourselves going through change.
yeah,
Michelle has put to meet it head on in a positive way and not worry about what I cannot control.
love that. Thank you.
Thanks, Michelle. We got one more person typing. Oh no, we got two people typing, sorry.
Oh,
Oh, Kate has just sent her apologies. Delayed by a visit and we'll need to leave a little bit early. So thank you, Kate.
okay.
And Chiquita's just finishing typing now. So we'll give Chiquita a couple minutes.
Okay.
So Chiquita's commented, I'll be a bit more open to how I feel about things rather than just sitting in the background.
Yeah, yeah. Because people
And
just
and
make
that's good.
assumptions. Yeah, that's great. Um, and then again, it's about sharing one action you'll take to help you navigate current and future changes. I think that's kind of covered it, hasn't it? You know, to Peter
Yeah,
and
I think
saying,
so.
yeah. But what I would say or suggest is that, you know, write an action for yourself. And that trains the brain. Again, that's the neuroscience behind it. You write down your actions on a note card or a post-it and review it, you know, regularly. It just helps train your brain. So when you come uh, face to face with certain changes, you know, you're kind of ready, um, and you're ready embedding those behaviors, um, and you're visualizing how you will respond. So there's a quote here. Has that come up?
It did for a moment, but it's disappeared. So we might have to go back again and hopefully, there we go.
Right. So every one of us needs to do our best work. Lead and help drive cultural change. We sometimes underestimate what we each can do to make things happen and overestimate what others need to do to move us forward. Yeah, so that's by Satya Nadella from Microsoft. So we all have a responsibility and accountability. And as somebody mentioned before, you can't, you know, there's no point wasting your time over things you can't control because the only thing that or person that you can control is yourself and how you respond to various situations. But you can, you know, with your own behaviors, drive that culture of change within your organization.